Welcome back to Startup U, where we talk about tools, tips, and marketing advice, all to grow your business. Don't forget to also subscribe to the Startup U podcast, where I have conversations with people like Barbara Corcoran, Damon John, Guy Kawasaki, Grant Cardone, you name it. We've had some amazing guests on the show where we talk about advanced tips and strategies for people like you, business owners and entrepreneurs. Now, let's go ahead and talk about today. Really amazing. I've talked a lot about biohacks and different things that I do. And the reason being, and you might be like, what the heck is an entrepreneur channel? Look, you have the same 24 hours in a day. That's not something you haven't heard before. We have to maximize that time. I would rather see people operate in the window that they do have at 95% versus being throttled down to 45%. You might not see the benefit after a matter of weeks, but if you're operating at that level for years and you look at somebody operating at half of that level, imagine the trajectory. Enhanced greatly. So I'm always looking for things. If you know my story, you know I had a health crisis and I've been fighting and kind of figuring out human health and optimization ever since. And something that I recently discovered that I had to share with you all was photobiomodulation. Maybe you've heard it called red light therapy or PBM, which is short for what I just said, photobiomodulation. Sorry, really long one, right? But it's near infrared light, and basically it's able to penetrate your cells, primarily speaking, and help produce more ATP. ATP is what gives you energy. It's what makes you fired up. And too many entrepreneurs, as I've seen it, I'm not a scientist, guys, but as I have seen it, too many entrepreneurs are just drinking coffee. It's just caffeine, caffeine, caffeine. And that's good, but it's not that good, pure, like real energy, right? It's kind of like hacked synthetic energy. And I'm a coffee drinker myself and I consume caffeine. I'm not against that, although get a high quality bean, preferably organic. But you want to find something that goes to the real source. There's just no substitute for the real deal. And PBM, I've done a lot of stuff, guys, experimenting. I've probably spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on finding health hacks and upgrades so that I can be the best entrepreneur that I can be and have longevity in my entrepreneurial business building pursuits. This has been unequivocally the fastest and most effective therapy that I've done in terms of just feeling better. So a couple of things that have really benefited me are that mitophagy, which is cleaning out all that old mitochondria, which remember from like 7th grade, that's the powerhouse of the cell, mitochondria. That mitochondria produces the ATP that I referenced, which gives you an abundance of energy. You want to look up a couple places near you for PBM therapy. The place I go to is called Restore Hyper Wellness, and they have franchises all over the country if you want to go experiment and try it for yourself. And they use what's called a Joovv light. That's Joovv. They're very expensive. I did buy one now at home that I can do for maintenance, so I'm not having to go every day, which is what I was doing, but that's what they utilize. And they have, I think what they call the quad, and they've actually added to the quad, where you're like a human s'more. So you've got like 6 panels in front of you and 6 behind you, and it just blasts you. You go in, you wear as little clothing as humanly possible. You can go totally stark nude if you want to, and what it's doing is it's just penetrating those cells with that near infrared light. Now, let's talk about some of the other benefits that you're gonna get from that. There's some real solid health benefits. In fact, I've seen studies where people have gone 6 weeks straight of doing PBM therapy and they've doubled their testosterone. They've had their hormones balanced, but they've done labs to actually measure and see the tangible change. From more of a vanity perspective, I've heard of people that see their wrinkles go away. There's a lot of before and afters all over the internet that you should absolutely check out. In one case, they actually had a study that did a placebo versus the real deal, and the real deal people actually lost inches to their waistline, having not changed anything about their lifestyle other than doing PBM every single day. So I'm sure with that little anecdote alone, that little piece of empirical data, you're probably ready to go buy one right now. But let's get into some of the other benefits, as I think you're gonna find them very, very beneficial because they are vast and abundant outside of just some of the vanity things. So faster recovery is a huge thing. Immune system. Reduces inflammation. Body inflammation is huge. I think we grossly underestimate cortisol in the body and how much of an effect that has on our bodily functions. Increased circulation, you'll find. Better sleep, I've noticed for sure. Definitely a pre-workout energy booster. I come out of there, I'm flying. I call it, I'm a comic book nerd, but I call it the Kal-El therapy because I literally feel like I'm Superman charging up in the sun, and that's literally what I've experienced. I just come flying out of there by the time that I'm done. I mentioned testosterone. Muscle growth is something I've heard. I have noticed, even in this short period, I've been doing it for about a month now, I have noticed my physique has changed. There are other things I'm doing, so I don't want to chalk it up just to that, but I have absolutely noticed a difference with overall change in my physique, specifically with the waistline thing. Absolutely have noticed a difference. I was told by the people that work at Restore that actually it helps convert, like it's called white fat to brown fat, I believe, or maybe the inverse relationship, but effectively it allows the body to discharge it more readily or easily than it would otherwise. So again, I'm not a scientist, but that's just what I was told. And I'm starting to notice that I'm seeing a little bit of that fat kind of peel off of my body in those undesirable areas. Mental acuity and activity. I don't know that I've noticed that per se. I will say that if I do longer sessions, I feel a little bit sharper, but that's not an immediate thing that I notice. I think the energy thing is bigger, and kind of the energy leads to the acuity. So maybe I have noticed it, just not through the lens that I'm experiencing it here. We talked about inflammation, metabolism, talked about that already. A lot of aesthetic benefits here, but this is really, really cool. So a lot of things people suffer with, right? Autoimmune diseases. I know people that suffer from neurological conditions like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's have experienced some benefit from this. Mentioned some of the other things like chronic fatigue. That was something that I was experiencing. Depression. I just mentioned the neurological Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, etc. All things that people see vast improvement. My wife, actually, really interesting. She was experiencing back pain. She was involved in an accident when she was younger, and somebody rear-ended her while she was driving. And she's been doing this, and she literally has felt, she said it's the number one thing that she's done that she's experienced massive benefit from doing, specifically on that lower back region where she experienced a little bit of that whiplash. So huge for injuries, huge for healing, huge for aging, anti-wrinkle, hair growth is something I didn't mention. All of these things have been proven via studies to show that they actually do make a huge, huge benefit on the body. Now, so I know I mentioned Joovv. We're using one called Vital is the name of the company. I'll link that below. The reason we chose them is because we've done a lot of research. Our dietitian actually recommended it because it was substantially cheaper with her discount code. It's like 20% off, and it was already $400 or $500 cheaper than Joovv. And a lot of the data shows that it's just as effective. These things are pretty darn expensive. Even the one panel that we have, a larger panel, was $1,000 before the 20% off discount. And I believe even one Joovv panel for the larger one is about $1,400. They do have smaller ones that you can put on your desk, but the obvious thing could be having your whole body exposed to that PBM red light versus a smaller panel that you can just put on your face. Some people that do have specific injuries or things of that nature will spend money on the smaller one that's about $500, and they'll just put it, like if they have digestive problems, they just put it on their, their gut region, or they have a knee issue, they're recovering from a torn ACL, things of that nature, things that they have found have made a huge impact on that recovery time. But for me, as I mentioned, I'm going for overall health, wellness, vitality, and energy, and I found it to be wildly, wildly beneficial. So I had to share it because as entrepreneurs, like I said, getting those little hacks, getting those little marginal benefits, it is absolutely worth the cause. It's actually worth pursuing it to operate at your best, and more importantly, to feel your best, which is probably takes precedence even over operating at your best. So hope you guys get a chance to check it out. Hope this was beneficial. Just wanted to share some information on what I have found and let you guys know it's been a game changer for me. Absolutely. So links are included below. And if you're looking for more additional help or resources on starting from scratch or building your current business, I mentioned tools, advice, and strategies and marketing strategies for growing your business. So I've got 3 things for you down below in the description as next steps you can take. The first is, if you haven't started a business, you can take our What Type of Business Should You Start quiz. It tells you the best business type for you, what type of business is going to work best for your personality, for your lifestyle, for the business that you want to build going forward. And even if you already have a business, this may be a good opportunity for you to really test and verify. Maybe I'm a little bit unhappy or I'm going the wrong direction. This could be a good opportunity for you to kind of learn, get the report that we give you that shows you this is how you should operate this business. This is how you put things in your life and resources that are going to make that business that much easier. Second resource we have for you is called our Ultimate Startup Checklist. This is our most popular, by far, download we've ever put together. It's going to give you everything you need, checkpoint by checkpoint, to start a business the right way. A lot of people are overwhelmed because they just don't know the order. There's so many things to do. What order do I do those things in? And that's exactly what this resource is going to give you. And then lastly, number 3, we have a free class. It's about a 35-minute class, and it's going to teach you how to actually make money online without being hokey, gimmicky, a little fraudy, right? All the things that we see online that are super cringe. This is going to teach you how to actually make money online, and it's 100% free to attend. It's 35 minutes, like I said, of really, really, really good information that we have learned from building multiple businesses from nothing to multiple millions of dollars before my wife and I were even 30 years old. That's free for you to attend. That link is included down below as well. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell. I'll see you in the next one.